Welcome to Sport in Focus. I'm your host Fitzroy Prendergast, and in our very special edition of Sport in Focus, we're caught up with Courtney Walsh, the former West Indies great fast bowler. Certainly we have a lot to speak to him about. I'm sure you viewers will be very interested in what he has to say. We have caught up with him at the Greenfield Stadium right here in Trelawney. Of course, he's marshalling the troops, and the Supreme Ventures Courtney Walsh Cricket Clinic is in full swing. Courtney, welcome to the microphones of Cable News and Sports.
Thank you very much.
Now, I want to look candidly at your career. You have played for West Indies for a very long time, done exceptionally well as a fast bowler, former world record holder. Just tell me a little bit about the feeling of playing for the West Indies. In all your years of playing for the West Indies, what stands out in your mind mostly?
Apart from making it for the first time, going on tour, or just being selected, being here in your name in a 16 spot going on tour, was like a dream come true and something you never forget. You can remember those days, it's something that you always wanted. Dreamt about when I was a kid growing up. And I remember the first time I got selected to go to England with the team. I didn't play in the game, in the international game on that tour, just to warm up matches, but just to be there was the greatest part of my career in terms of learning and just being amongst the big boys, so to speak.
How did you manage to do it? All the cricket pundits who talk about cricket always wonder at your fitness and the constancy with which you played cricket. You were very rarely injured. How did you manage to keep yourself so very fit throughout your career?
I think I did the basics right. I tried to look after my body. I trained pretty hard beforehand, and I just tried to maintain it. It was more like a maintenance program. But I also took pride in what I wanted to do and what I wanted to do. And you can't perform if you're not on the field of play. So I've always tried to guard myself against injury. And I think I only missed 2 games through injury, one for West Indies and one for Jamaica. And it was something that I've always wanted to be on the park, because you can only perform if you're on the park. And you've got to really look after yourself and look after your body. Now,
interestingly, you of course, we remember at Sabina Park when you got the world record. Tell us about that feeling in particular.
That was a very good feeling. It was always good to do it at home. I remember when I was going to Australia, I said it would be nice if I break this record at home. And it turned out that way, that when I came back home, we were playing against Zimbabwe. And it was just like the icing on the cake, because it's always proud and a good feeling when you do something in front of your personal home crowd. You do it in the Caribbean, yes, you get a good feeling as well. And in fact, anywhere in the world that you break a record, it's a good feeling. But when you are able to do it at home in front of your fans and your family and everybody, it's an extra special feeling.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your bowling, because I'm always fascinated by how you did some things. Certainly one of the things that fascinates me as a cricket person is you playing mostly with Curtly Ambrose, and Ambrose was a fantastic fast bowler, but you were never overshadowed in any way. You always had, you could always come up after a long spell and still get somebody out with something special. I mean, somebody was getting tired at the other end, but you were still able to generate enough energy to get somebody out. Is it that you have special deliveries for special players?
No, the special thing is probably special time of the day. I think what happens is that you got to realize that cricket is a 6-hour game. And there's no point in doing everything in the first session and then shut off. So I've always left something in the tank. I've always told myself, you've got to leave something in the tank to reserve, just in case. And those are the times that most of the time it comes out. As you correctly said, when you're in partnership with a Curtly Ambrose, you know when it's his day. When it's his day, you just work with him. The days that are down for him are the days that you sort of come for and try to do the things that are going to sort of get you on par. So it's a case of just assessing, concentrating, but just realizing that cricket is played for 6 hours and not just 3 or 2.
What's the most memorable series for you?
On a personal note, I think the one in England where I was 1 wicket short of Malcolm Marshall's record of most wickets of the tour. That to me was probably one of my better tours. It was just before I retired as well.
Not New Zealand?
I was getting up there. No, that was one of the tours. And then in New Zealand when I got 13 in a match, as captain at that tour as well, was a very special moment, because you was just a regular player, you were a captain. Having the honor of captain the West Indies for the first time on a tour of that nature. And sort of, just how things went. We played at Wellington on a very flat track, and we got a lot of runs. And the New Zealanders said it's going to be a drawing game, and we won the test match with a day to spare. So that was a very satisfying feeling.
Tell us about your role as captain of the West Indies team. How difficult was it to manage the charges for the West Indies team as a fast bowler?
A lot of people say it has been difficult, but I didn't find it very difficult. I found I had a very good bunch of guys who wanted to play. They made life a lot easier for me. The captain has to lead from the front, and you do the best you can. Some some of the performances weren't up to scratch, so to speak. So all the tours weren't as good as I wanted to be. And in terms of my captaincy, the worst tour I had was the tour of Pakistan when we lost all the games we played there, both one days and test, I think, and that was to me the worst part of my download of my career in terms of we didn't do well at all in Pakistan. Even though on a personal note I performed okay, I the reason we could take off both teams, but that doesn't say when the team doesn't do well, so that meant nothing to me at the time. And that was one of the tours it was one of the more challenging times as a captain, so to speak. The rest of the tours everything's out of place, we do what we're supposed to do, we won some, we lost some, but on a whole that was probably the worst.
You had the responsibility at one point in captaining Brian Lara. Some people have different opinions of Brian, but how did you find Brian under your captaincy?
On a personal note, I didn't have any problems with him. Whatever problems there might have been or anything, I didn't see it or know of it. He was my vice captain the most of the tour, so we had a good relationship, a good rapport, working on things and trying to get things done. So from that point of view, I didn't really have any problems with him.
Being out of Test cricket, and when you look back at what is happening in the sport, do you see where his personality can lead to problems in the West Indies team? Did you feel that way in any way?
I didn't feel that way anyway because I was always seen at Brian. So Brian, I was sort of, we had a relationship and a friendship going around. Because myself and Kurt was very close, and Brian, when he used to room with Kurt, they would have to hear everything Kurt said. So I mean, we didn't have any problems, so to speak. I found out after that some of the younger guys were probably intimidated by him from time to time. But that was, to me, that would have been a case for managers and team officials to take care of. But for the time that I played, I didn't have any problem with it.
Now, you've retired now, enjoying life. Tell us what you're doing now.
Well, I'm doing a little bit, or you could say a lot. We involved with this branch of Courtney Walsh clinic where we go around the entire Jamaica and try to spot talent and bring them to Kingston to harness them in a 3-week camp, Cornwall, Middlesex and Surrey. Started last year to get bigger and better. This is the second year running. And due to the kind sponsorship of Supreme Ventures, we are able to start to see a number of kids. We'll probably be seeing, at the end of the full camp, we might see over 200 kids when everything completes, because we're going to see between 6 to 75. And on the 3-week camp, we'll have seen 20, 28 going around the country. So it's a lot of kids you see given an opportunity to learn the basics about the game, because the fundamentals of the game will not change. If we can teach them that, that is a good thing. We've got some top coaches working with them. And the kids are very eager to learn. So to me, it's a big step in terms of the continuity for cricket. Some of the facilities are not as good as some, but we still have to work with them. If we can get a lot of stuff standardized around the region, around Jamaica, I think it's in the right direction. So that's one thing I'm doing. I used to go to Australia and be the coach, but since the Supreme Ventures, I try not to do too much because I much prefer to work at home, so to speak, or to do stuff at home. So I'm not going to Australia. I haven't been to Australia for over a year now. I'm involved with the MCC Cricket World Committee, so I go to England from time to time to meet them. I'm involved on the Stanford 2020 board, on the board of directors there, so I go to meetings there as well. And I'm also involved with the ICV Cricket Committee. I've just been involved with that, so it's all work.
You're taking over from Michael?
No, I'm not to the ICC, that's Michael. Michael is with the ICC, I'm with the ICV.
Okay.
And I'm also involved with Jamaica Cricket Association. They have co-opted me as one of the directors. I'm involved with that. So there's a little bit of stuff that I'm doing amongst the business attributes that I'm involved
Plus,
with.
you're also president of Melbourne, isn't it?
President of Melbourne Cricket.
That's a lot of work.
Whole institution. It's a lot of work. It's not easy. Sometimes I want to try and cut myself in about 4 to fit everything in, but it's something I want to do. It's pretty challenging, but I see that's one of the ways that I can give something back to the game of cricket. That's whoever's game that helped me so much.
Let me just ask you about the Supreme Ventures, Supreme Ventures cricket, because we're here at the Greenfield Stadium. Loving it?
I'm loving it. I'm enjoying every minute of it. The coaches, the administrators, everybody work together as a team. We're fully involved. We're fully supportive of it. We're fully committed to helping the kids. And it's not just about cricket. You know, we have people who reach them. Diane Campbell, who is she helps us out quite a lot. Service. She comes down and when she gets up some free time from her work, she tries to make sure the kids are okay. We've got tutors coming into them. We've got when the camp is in Kingston, we'll run through the whole grooming process with them. We'll bring in people to come and have a chat with them. We're trying to have rounded individuals so that when they leave the clinic or they leave the camp, you know, someone can see and say, well, those kids have been well taught. And that's the whole idea of the Supreme Ventures. You don't want to wait until they're 25 or 30. You want to do it now when they're in their teens, when they're young, so that, you know, as my grandmother would say, bend the tree from it young, so that they know what to do.
What about the West Indies Cricket Board Committee that you're a part of? I know you just said you're just on it, but what are your aspirations there?
Well, it's putting something back into West Indies cricket, so they have us as a sort of former players involved on a cricket committee to try to make recommendations and suggestions. And as far as I'm concerned, if they're going to listen to us, then I think it could work. I think it's good to have a few other players or former players who used to play the game involved in cricketing matters. And that's the role I would like to play, and that's the role they've asked me to play. And so far so good. I think our suggestions have been taken on board and recommendations, and it's just to try to work in tandem with Western Cricket Board to do what's best for Western cricket.
What's a single biggest change that you would make to West Indies cricket if you had the power?
The single biggest change is try to get to play much better cricket. The product of cricket is too inconsistent, so I don't have consistency in it. And I think we show sparks that we can compete with the best, but we need to be doing that on a consistent level. Even if we're not winning, but we need to play much better consistently. So the thought process has to be there. So to get more consistency, to make sure that we're thinking about what we're doing, that we're where we want to reach.
Now, you're also involved with the Stanford 2020, and when Stanford started this thing, there was some controversy about that, you would well be aware. How is it progressing? 2020 is taken on across the globe. I just heard on BBC that the British are going to be having a big 2020 competition, so the West Indies has to follow suit. How is the Stanford 2020 competition progressing?
I think that's progressing pretty well. It's probably getting the region, and it's good that there's an agreement or an arrangement with ICB that the Stanford 2020 group and the Western Cricket Board are going to work in tandem in promoting 2020 cricket in the region. And I would love to see that come to where everybody's happy. The Western Cricket Board is happy as to the format and the formation of it. That we can, as you say, bring 2020 cricket to the region. To me, that would be an ideal setting.
Now, in terms of when you look at the Test cricket as opposed to one day, we're now having 50 overs cricket. We're having 2020. Are you worried in any way, Courtney, that we may see a decline in the quality of performances at the Test level simply because of the explosion, so to speak, of 2020 cricket around the world?
The possibilities are there, but I think it's up to the players to come to the forefront of it. But I think we don't want to overkill 2020 cricket. We don't want to overkill the 50 over. Test cricket is there. To me, I think it's the best aspect of the game. If you ask me which one of the game I prefer, it has to be Test cricket because that's really the test of character. What you don't want is for people to carry the 2020
mentality
into the Test cricket and then sort of lose in terms of credibility and so I think all three games can balance each other.
Okay, let's look a little bit at the current West Indies team. I couldn't have you here without talking about the current West Indies team. You rightly said that we play in spurts. Our fast bowling seems to be coming on. It's not there yet, but certainly as a fast bowler you would see some signs of improvement. What are your thoughts there?
There are signs of improvement, and as I said about 2-3 years ago, I think what these guys are missing is that they don't have sort of a father figure to work with. So what the board probably should do, or the coaching staff should do, not necessarily for Test match time, but try to get these guys to go and work with some of the former greats, Joel Garner, Andy Roberts, Curtly Ambrose. Sort of learn about the rudiments of the game, how to think of how you get batsmen, what you think of doing, the thought process, because that's one of the things that is kind of missing. Sometimes on a flat day, you can tell that they're not too sure as to what to do or what to do. You can see what they want to do, but it's how about getting the job done. So that's one area that I think it would be nice if we could do some work there with them before they go on tour, or if someone can be with them, just it might be only for a year, just sort of we can then say, okay, that person is not the leader for the back, because if you go back into history, when Andy Roberts was around with Michael Olin, Joel Garner and Malcolm Marshall, Andy Roberts was the leader for the back. Those guys learned their trade. And Joel Garner, we learned from him, we learned from Malcolm Marshall, we learned from Michael Olin. The trend was there. Curtly Ambrose came into the blue and learned from also Ian Bishop. But that tradition, because all these guys are young and inexperienced, there's no one there to learn from them. So we need someone around just to get with the guy.
In my opinion, the batting has been a major problem. The biggest problem I see, the inconsistency of the batsmen. Shiv is probably the only one that stands up consistently. At the top we're having a problem there. Your thoughts there?
It's very inconsistent. You need to get that consistency there. I mean, people keep saying that once there's pressure on the batsman, they crumble. And then when there's no pressure, everybody's fast. What you need is to take it under pressure to show that they show some resilience, that we can do it under pressure situation as well. And it's a major cause of concern because, as you rightly say, the only consistent player we have had so far is Chandra Paul. I mean, we have had some injuries as well, can't rule that out. But at the same time, you want people who come in to replace someone who's injured to sort of make a name for themselves. So that person who did not play is under pressure when he comes back to play. And that's the only way to get the job done properly.
What's your thoughts on Xavier Marshall coming into the West Indies tour and doing reasonably well? I wouldn't, doing reasonably well. Your thoughts on him?
I thought he did pretty well. It's good to see a youngster like that who hasn't got the first class and coming in and playing as positive as he did. He's still learning the game, or the rudiments of the game, and it's how well he's guided from here on in, because he's now got to go back to the drawing board to realize his strengths and weaknesses. Just really hasn't worked out after a while, and he's got to now try to get past that level to make a name for himself, but he's got good potential.
Now, you're now involved in your own business, doing your own thing. How difficult is it to move from, say, a sports icon to, a businessman?
It can be pretty difficult at times, but I think the transition has been pretty good for me. When I was still playing, I had a sporting goods store that we sort of did some trading with, so that the business aspect was kicking in from then, and then the sports bar came after I retired, so everything sort of fit in place, and it's going pretty well. It's challenging at times, because as you know, you're going to have good days and bad days, but it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm enjoying everything else.
Still doing the sports goods store as well?
The sports goods store, so I'm still involved in both businesses.
Okay, now let's look a little bit at what do you hope to achieve now that you've retired from the game, you're working with youngsters. What would you like to see for West Indies cricket? I mean, you're working with the youngsters. What would you like to see at this level?
I'd like to see us back up there where we can compete. The number one team in the world. That would be a great achievement for us. And to see some of these youngsters who are working in back as well. But the most important thing for me is to see if we can get the pride, the discipline, the focus, and that level of consistency back in the day.
Any thought of the region coming together? Because part of the problem I think that we've had is the insularity that plagues us across the region. Any thought of the West Indies team coming together to form even a semi-professional league in the region?
That is something that we have to build up to sort of get done. I was kind of hoping that with the Stanford initiative that we might be able to get some semi-pros team along so we can play some more consistent more often in the game. That might not match up, but the semi-pro team across the region. And you can probably take it to say Trinidad one day, Barbados is following near Jamaica, and spread it around, but you have a set period. So you might say for 3 months or for 4 months, the semi-pro is in the region and everybody has a chance.
Do you think in any way of expanding your Courtney Walsh Supreme Ventures Cricket Clinic across the region?
It's something we have mentioned and discussed and talked about, and I would not object to doing it if it's going to benefit West Indies. It would be nice to be able to take it around the region, but we're going to need sponsorship. I'm not sure if Supreme would want to go that way, but if they are inclined, we can get it done. I mean, we've got a very good working partnership and relationship with them so far, and if we can get other sponsors on board, because they mentioned that it would be nice if other sponsors can come on board. So if we can get other sponsors, we have a good partnership where we can take it around the region. That would be perfect for the kids around the region.
Throughout your career, Courtney, how has your mother played a role in your development?
She's played the most important role. She's always been there for me. My sort of mother figure, so to speak, that has always been there. She's been very, very supportive, and to make sure that I trod on the sort of straight and narrow as well, in terms of instilling the discipline in me to make sure that I was doing the right things from day one. So she has always been there for me, and today she's still there for me.
Your son, I notice when I go to cricket, he's still playing cricket. You must be eyeing him getting to a level where he possibly can represent Jamaica and even the West Indies. How good a feeling is it for you to see your son following in your footsteps?
It's a very good feeling, but as I said to him, don't do it because of me, do it because you want to do it. And I think he's realizing now that it's something that he wants to do. He's been working a little bit harder, and I'm sure that if he he's got the potential.
Fast bowling?
Fast bowling, he's got some pace. I mean, when I was his age, I was not quick as he is now. And I keep saying that if I had your pace when I was a kid, then people would be in trouble. You need to just work hard, get fully fit, and go out and give yourself a chance of representing your country and the region at large. I think it's something he's thinking about, and hopefully not too distant he can sort of make that step.
Sometimes when you start your career, it's on the stroke of luck. Let's say internationally, somebody may spot you and say you're a great cricketer, and they give you the push. When you started your career, were there any persons who actually pushed you into the limelight that propelled Courtney Walsh into the spotlight?
Not. Well, until what happened is that when I played Sunlight, I did well. I got a record of taking 10 wickets in a game against Campbell. And I think that sort of propelled my career in that thing. Started to look to wonder who it was because a lot of people didn't know I was playing, or I was doing well at school, and I think that's sort of the leapfrog, the awareness of me being around. But I remember distinctly one year there was a practice session at Melbourne, and they asked for some practice bowlers, and I went along. And Malcolm Marshall, Gerald Garner, Michael Oden, Colin Crawford were all there along with Ron Canai. And for some strange reason they were impressed with the way I was bowling. And then they said, no, you need to go to Jamaica trials. So I played senior cup that year for Melbourne and got called to the Jamaica trials and did reasonably well. So a lot of people was impressed then, and I think that's where the awareness came from. It wasn't like something happened and someone sort of singled me, but I think in my estimation, the Sunlight cricket at first, and then just going to practice with these guys, and they were impressed. And I think because they were impressed, I got a chance to sort of play some club cricket for my club, and then play for Jamaica. Once I've made my debut for Jamaica, I don't think I look back since then.
In wrapping up, Courtney, I couldn't end this interview without asking you about your impact and your associations at Gloucestershire. Certainly you played a very, very long time for them. What was it like playing in England, away from your family, and in different conditions?
It was very challenging. I mean, I played for 14 years in England in Gloucester. Stayed very loyal to one county. Enjoyed every minute of it apart from just the hen part, but I mean, it was 14 good years. It's a learning process. It's very challenging. You're away from your family. It's pretty cold sometimes. You're on your own most of the times, and it's something that can hardly make you be a true professional because I knew what I wanted to achieve. So I was just very steadfast in making sure I go up there, play good cricket, I performed, I did well for the team, I did well for myself personally. I tried to make sure I get a spot in the West Indies team because that was what it was all about as well. I wanted to try to cement your place in the West Indies team. I was not able to cement my place until about 1992. That was being comfortable from 1984.
Let me just look at your fast bowling. Did Gloucestershire help you in honing your skills in your fast bowling?
It did because it was under different conditions. You were in conditions where the ball was spinning around a little bit more. It was a bit damp. You had to be able to pitch the ball up a little bit more. But I learned that the year before when I played youth cricket in England and when I played a season in the league. It was just a matter of being more consistent with it when I went up to play for Gloucester. So it was something that I keep telling people. England is one of the places you can go and learn your cricket. The different conditions will let you know how to adapt to things around you.
Thank you very much, Courtney. All the best. We certainly like what we've seen here in terms of the Supreme Ventures Cricket Clinic. It's certainly honing the skills of a lot of youngsters with potential. In wrapping up, though, in terms of the talent base that you see at this level, what would you say to youngsters at this level, how they prepare to get into the very best of the game?
Well, they try to get into the basics right, but they have got to be disciplined and to be focused and to listen to the coaches around. And even if they think the coaches are around, the coaches are never around because they are just teaching them the basics. They're here to guide you. They're not going to try to change your entire play, but they want to see you do the basics a little bit more consistent. And the youngsters are catching on to that. What I would like to see happen is that it's sort of a continuation of it. It's the schools and the clubs and the parishes that everybody gets a feel of it or buy into it to try to get the youngsters around all of Jamaica and not just in any one spot.
Thank you very, very much, Courtney. All the best, and we wish you great success in both your business and other ventures. Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
That was Ambassador Courtney Walsh, certainly doing very, very well with the Supreme Ventures Courtney Walsh Cricket Clinic. Great seeing the coaches working with these youngsters, and certainly they're learning a lot from him and from Julia Bennett, Robert Samuels, and all the guys. Dan, who also works with Jamaica Cricket Board. A lot of good things happening for Jamaica Cricket, and certainly we hope that this will continue. I'm Fitzroy Prendergast, signing out from Greenfield in Trelawney for Sports in Focus.